Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Thursday, 16th February 2017. I'm Fredicia Liebert. The National Unity Government is today celebrating its second anniversary of being elected into office. At the Town Hall meeting held at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall on Monday, 13th February, as part of the week-long celebration of the second anniversary, Prime Minister the Honourable Dr. Timothy Harris spoke about the accomplishments of 2 years in office.
And less than 2 years, this Team Unity administration, chosen by you, the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis, has delivered like no other government before. In less than 2 years, we have given the country a mouthful of glad tidings about which they can speak every day. They can experience what the work that we have done on behalf of the people have led to. We have done that because we remain true to you, true to our promise that Team Unity was your idea to put the country again on the right path of economic development and democracy.
Harris said that the country's surplus is evident according to government's accounts, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC, and the International Monetary Fund, IMF.
So you must be proud of your government, because even when we are doing all of these things, the country is still in surplus. We are managing the books of the country well. The fiscal house of St. Kitts and Nevis is in order. We are an above average performer. And we are among the best performing countries, not just in the OECS, in the entire world.
The theme for the observance was good governance and accountability for prosperity. The activities included a town hall meeting and reception in Nevis. The government of National Unity took office on February 16th of 2015. The annual Nevis Plantation Beach Club Primary School's tourism quiz, hosted by the Ministry of Tourism in the Nevis Island Administration, took place earlier today at the Occasions Recreation Centre. Here is more in this report. The Joycelyn Liebert Primary School copped first place, amassing a total of 45 points, answering all of the questions correctly. Second place went to the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School with a total of 40 points. There was a tiebreaker between the Ivor Walters and St. Thomas's Primary Schools, as well as Nevis Academy. The Ivor Walters Primary School emerged winners of the tiebreaker, securing them the third place spot. Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, John Hanley, thanked the sponsors for partnering with the Ministry of Tourism.
Thank you, Nevis Plantation, for your readiness to invest in the future of our island through sponsorship of this event that encourages our children to learn so much about our own island and the all-important tourism industry upon which it so heavily depends.
A total of 9 schools participated: Charlestown, St. James and VOJN Primary, and the Maud Cross Preparatory School. Principal Education Officer Palsy Wilkin, in delivering brief remarks, thanked the teachers for affording the students the opportunity to showcase what they've learned.
I do thank you for taking our children out of the classroom and for helping them to showcase those skills which we try to instill in them. The skills of oral language expression, the skill of critical thinking, testing their knowledge and their abilities in order to show us what they would have learned.
The students answered questions from 3 categories: cultural heritage, geography and the environment, and Caribbean tourism. Youth Junior Minister of Tourism, Yulone Pemberton, was the chairperson for the event. The announcers for the quiz were Walter Morton, Zanella Claxton, and Desiree Otley. The vote of thanks was given by quiz coordinator Dawson Utley. The Ministry of Health on Tuesday afternoon launched the Perinatal Information System, which is a service that collects and collates maternal and neonatal information. This service allows health administrators to conduct analysis on trends and anomalies that may occur in our community. The installation of the system on Nevis is being made possible with assistance from the World Health Organization through its regional office, the Pan American Health Organization. Dr. Patrice Lawrence Williams is the PAHO Country Program Specialist and made remarks at the launching ceremony.
The Perinatal Information System, SIP, was introduced in the Americas approximately 25 years ago, and the electronic version is currently being introduced in 34 different countries. It was introduced by the Latin America Center for Perinatology, Women's and Reproductive Health, CLAP, which is a department of the Pan American Health Organization. The paper-based SIP was introduced in St. Kitts and Nevis more than 10 years ago, but for some reason the initiative wasn't sustained. And we're here today to launch the electronic version, which is being introduced in Nevis for the first time and is actually part of the St. Kitts and Nevis initiative.
According to Coordinator of Community Nursing, Ermin Jeffers, the implementation is being done under the theme Bridging the Gap. Nurse Jeffers said while the ministry welcomes the electronic system, data was being collected by professionals on Nevis.
The perinatal information system has been identified as an integral part of sustaining the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis initiative in St. Kitts and Nevis. The perinatal information system was first implemented in the Caribbean countries in the early 1990s, but because of various challenges, the system was discontinued. However, St. Kitts and Nevis continued the use of the forms for data collection.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Nicole Slack-Liebert, commended all of the various players in making the service a reality and pledged the government's continued support in the area of maternal health.
In addition to the necessary technology to facilitate the system, we have provided the essential human resources at the hospital and health centers, as well as the necessary technology to provide these health services.
Members of the nursing fraternity as well as other Ministry of Health officials attended the launching ceremony and were given a full demonstration by nurse Deslyn Tyson White. Still to come,
the youth policy is a document with which we should all use to ensure that youth development reflects the needs of our young people.
The details after this break.
On January 30, 2017, the Alexandra Hospital will be issuing health ID cards to all patients accessing service as part of the introduction of our Health Information System, HIS. The process is simple and will take just a few minutes. A photo will be taken of each individual accessing service, and within minutes, your card will be printed and issued. You will be required to present this card each time you access service at the outpatient department. We are craving the public's cooperation as we implement the new system, which will be of benefit to all. When fully operational, it will significantly improve the quality of service and reduce patient waiting time. Remember, the start date is January 30, 2017. Join the movement in health.
I got my card.
Welcome back. Officials of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, RSCNPF, are hopeful that the detection rate as it relates to crime in the Federation will be increased with the new Reporter app, which was launched on Wednesday, 15th February under the theme Empower SKN. The launch of the app, which forms part of the government's efforts in crime fighting, can be used to anonymously report offences to the local police. Tips can be given using text and/or pictures, and every report will be quickly reviewed by dispatchers at the nearest police station and handled accordingly. Cromwell Henry, District A Commander of the RSCNPF, explained the app briefly and said that it will be very useful to the general public and also to the police force. Henry said that persons can also use the app to give a crime tip. He encouraged citizens to use the app just as they would use Crime Stoppers 1-800 tips, which already exists. The commander said that the app is confidential. However, users have the option of whether or not they wish to be identified. He said that the app users need not be concerned with the information showing up all over the place because there is control over who sees the information and what happens to it. The app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store and Apple's App World. So far, Flow has agreed that no data charges would be applied to persons who utilize the Crime Reporter app and the Government Directory app. Yesterday, February 15th, the Ministries of Youth in St. Kitts and Nevis hosted another of their consultations in their effort to develop a federal youth policy. Wednesday's consultation took place at the Mount Nevis Hotel and was headlined the Nevis Interministerial Consultation. Nevis Director of Youth, Zanella Claxton, welcomed all of the stakeholders to the one-day conference, which has as one of its themes, mainstreaming youth in national development.
The youth policy is a document with which we should all use to ensure that youth development reflects the needs of our young people and exactly the fact that we can walk in the same path going towards the same end. We want to ensure that we provide what they want and also what we want as a country. And this cannot be done just by the Department of Youth here on Nevis or the Department of Youth Empowerment on St. Kitts.
Special Advisor in the Ministry of Youth on St. Kitts, Veron Connor, delivered remarks as a representative of the Minister of Youth on St. Kitts. Connor said the goal of the exercise is to have the federal youth policy brought into effect by the National Parliament.
Since October of 2016, which is just last year, we formally launched this initiative. Leading up to October, the minister made an overture to UNESCO. And when UNESCO learned about this initiative, they gladly came on board.
In addition to UNESCO, other sponsors of this initiative are the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Commonwealth. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development, Keith Glasgow, echoed the Nevis Island Administration's support for the development of the youth policy when he delivered remarks at the opening exercise.
This, we feel, is a critical goal of the ministry, bearing in mind that the youth demographic within our population is especially vulnerable due to the lack of work experience and lack of material and financial resources. The current challenges of poverty, joblessness, negative peer pressure, and antisocial behavior facing our youth make it incumbent on us to provide opportunities for them to build resilience.
The discussion on the policy was led by Commonwealth consultant Dwinette Eversley, covering such topics as key issues for consensus building and policy imperatives and the implementation mechanism. Attendees for the one-day workshop were drawn from a wide cross-section of the civil service. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredisa Liebert. Thank you for viewing. Good night.